welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be doing my 10,000 subscriber Q&A, so let's just get into it. As you can see, I am in a different location today because whenever I do Q&As I like to switch it up and actually film on my bed, so that's where I am today. And if the lighting kind of goes wonky, I'm sorry, because whenever I film her, for some reason my camera decides to like flash random darkness, so we're just gonna go with it. So I did a video a few weeks ago asking you guys for some of your Q&A questions and I got so many responses. Thank you to each and every one of you if you left a question. As of now, I've only seen a few of the questions. I really haven't gone through and looked at any of them, and originally when I was planning this video, I was gonna like pick out the questions that I was going to do, but I just ran out of time. So we're just gonna be scrolling through the comments and answering whichever ones pop out to me. So I have over 400 comments on here, which is ridiculous, so I'm going to try to answer as many as I can, but obviously if I don't get to yours, I'm sorry. Alright, so let me just get started so that I can answer as many as possible. The first question is one that got so many likes, and this is one that I've actually read before, and I love this question, but I also hate it. And it is reread, rewrite, burn, A Court of Mist and Fury, Strange to Dreamer, and A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Now, I love this question because it is obviously that this person knows me so well and wants to torture me, because those are probably like my top 3 favorite books and I talk about them all the freaking time. Okay, you know what? I'm going to reread A Court of Mist and Fury because there's nothing that I would ever want to change about that. Oh, I got it. So I'm going to rewrite A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I don't know what I would change, but I'll rewrite that. And I'll burn my ARC copy of Strange to Dreamer, because I have 2 copies of Strange to Dreamer. So I can just burn one of them and I'll have my beautiful UK signed edition still in perfectly pristine condition. Ha! I hacked the system. You know what? There we go. We're gonna move on. This question is, have you ever met a subscriber, and if so, what was it like? So I have, considering that all of my personal friends are subscribed to my channel, I have met some of my subscribers, but as of just like someone randomly coming up to me when I was somewhere and being a subscriber, no. But I would love to meet some of you guys. I just don't know how I would ever organize that. This is from my friend Skyla, but it says, you can't change anything about your bookshelves. They have to be left as they are at the time of reading this comment. You're left on an island and you can only bring one bookshelf. Which one do you choose? That's so cruel. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna like insert a picture right here because I don't want to like move the camera or anything, but I think I'm going to go with of my big bookshelves, the one over towards the left, because it has Strange the Dreamer. Oh, but that doesn't have A Court of Mist and Fury. You know what? I'm just not gonna question it. I'll go with that one and I'll cry. Oh, I love this question. It says, if you had to choose, which one fictional character would you like to spend a day with, and what would you two do? Okay. There's so many characters. I think I'm going to go with Julian Blackthorne from Lord of Shadows, and we would go to that carnival thing that's in Lord of Shadows. You know what I'm talking about if you've read it. Like the carnival thing at the beginning. That would be fun to go with Julian. I have like tons of other answers though. This question is, what do people at school think of your YouTube? I feel like that's a generic question, but I really want to know. Also, were you ever bullied for your reading? I definitely was never bullied for my reading taste or made fun of or anything like that, and everyone at school thinks that this channel is really freaking cool. I have been so blessed. All of my closest friends are subscribed to this, and lots of my friends comment all the time on my videos and they talk about it, and lots of my teachers know about it and my college counselors and things like that, and they're super supportive of it, and I've just been so lucky and so blessed that I haven't gotten made fun of for it. And really, like, even people that I don't really talk to a lot at my school have come up to me and said how cool they think it is, so I've been really blessed in that aspect. This question is, what is your favorite book to movie adaptation, and what are some of your favorite movies? As far as book to movie adaptations, this is very generic, but I love the Hunger Games series. I also really loved Everything. It wasn't perfect, but I did really like that. As far as my favorite, in general, movies, my favorite movie for the longest time was Now You See Me. I love that movie with all of my soul. I also just love any of the Marvel movies. I've recently gotten so much into Marvel and I love them so much. This question is, what is the worst thing someone could do to a book? And I feel like the most expected answer to this is like writing in it or dog-earing it or something like that, and I could do a whole video on just that because I annotate my books, I dog-ear my books, and I do things to my books that lots of people get upset at, and I feel like, I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts on people's views on that specific aspect, but I think the worst thing that someone could do to a book would probably be to like throw it away or like degrade it in a way, like even if you absolutely, like I have books that I hate and I openly talk about my hate, but would I ever like burn the book or like degrade it or say that it's like no one should like it or be just so adamant about how terrible it is? I feel like I would never do that, and I feel like that is really bad because even if you really hate a book, some people might like that book and the author put a lot of time and energy into that book, and so to like burn it or throw it away or do something like that to it, I feel like it's very disrespectful both to the author and to the book itself, and so I feel like that would be the worst thing. If you will be on an island for a week, what book will you bring? Probably, as of right now, Tower of Dawn, because I still haven't read that book, and if I was stuck on an island, it would force me to read it, so Tower of Dawn. Next, I have this question that says, if you wrote a book, what genre would it be and what would it be about? Now, I feel like I've said this like multiple times, but as of right now, I'm not a writer. I'm not working on any stories. I'm not writing anything, and as of in the foreseeable future, I don't see myself being a writer. I know that I got this question also about what I want to major in and everything. I want to major in English and minor in marketing, and I want to go into the business side of the book publishing world. As opposed to publishing my own books, I like to help other people get their books published. And so as of right now, I'm not writing anything, but if I did, it would probably most likely be fantasy, just because I love fantasy books so much, and it's my favorite genre. And if I were to write a book, I would love to write a fantasy novel because I do have like ideas in my head and things like that, and they're all fantasy oriented. So which fictional characters have inspired you to be a stronger person or helped you through hard times? Laszlo Strange from Strange the Dreamer. He changed my life and made me love literature and love reading and love myself so much more. Laszlo Strange. Also Feyre. I love Feyre. I think she is super strong and I have her as such a high role model. This question made me laugh. It says, do you sleep with your closet doors closed or open? I don't have closet doors, so I can't really answer that question, but I thought it was funny. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you saw the word fall? Okay, so the first thing, I don't know why I thought of this, but I thought of coffee because I really love the Starbucks coffee and the McDonald's coffee, the pumpkin spice lattes. I feel like that is the most generic thing ever, but that was the first thing that I thought of when I thought of fall. Also, beanies, and I can finally wear jeans because, again, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and you can't wear jeans unless it's the fall and the winter time, so I'm really excited to be able to wear jeans again because I love jeans. Ooh, I love this question. It says, in rainbow order, pick one book that is your favorite or has left a mark on you. Okay, I got all my books. Okay, here we go. So I did this based on the spines because I have my shelves arranged in rainbow order, but for red, I have The Hate You Give by A.G. Thomas. This book is ridiculously important, and if you haven't read it yet, it's a Black Lives Matter movement novel. Please read it. For orange, I have Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I said like a few months ago that it was going to be my mission to make everyone read this series because it is mind-blowing and amazing. Please read it. For yellow, I have More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. Again, my favorite Adam Silvera novel to this date, and I've read all of his books, and this one's still my favorite. It just touched me in ways that I never expected it to, and it's fantastic. For green, I have Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the third book in the Shadow Me series, my favorite book, and I read this in like 4 hours. It was fabulous. For blue, I have obviously A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. It shouldn't be a secret to anyone. This is one of my favorite books of all time ever. For purple, I have another Sarah J. Maas book because I don't have a lot of purple books, but I'm gonna go with The Assassin's Blade because the ending of this book, who can we just? For pink, I have Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I love this first book. The rest of the books in this series are not very great, but this was one of the first hardcover books that I bought because of BookTube, and I remember that it was like $15 and I didn't want to spend the money, but I decided because Booksplosion was doing something for it that I would get it, and I just have fond memories about it. For brown, I have The Darkest Minds by Alexander Bracken. I love The Darkest Minds and this book is fabulous. For white, I have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This book was so good and it affected me so much, and this is my favorite Colleen Hoover book to date. And then finally for black, I have Heartless by Marissa Meyer, because this book caught me so much off guard. I don't know why I didn't think that I would like it, but I ended up adoring it. Ooh, that was a good question. Thank you to whoever asked that. I really loved it. Next I have, which country is the one you want to travel to the most? For the longest time I would have said England. I wanted to go to London for the longest time, but recently I'm gonna have to say South Korea because I want to go there so freaking bad. If you guys watched my Anything But Books tag, you will know that I've recently gotten super into K-pop, and it's just snowballed into this thing, and I love BTS, and I just, with all of my heart, I just want to go to Seoul and just experience Korea. This question is, if you had to make a movie, which book will you choose to turn it into a movie? So like, which book would you turn into a movie? And see, movies are weird for me. Whenever there's a movie announced of a book that I really like, I get extremely nervous. But if I could guarantee that it would be a really great adaptation, I would say a really good adaptation of A Court of Thorns and Roses. If it could guarantee that it was good, I would love to see that in a movie. Oh, this is a great question. It says, will you make a BTS song book tag video? Because I know you're a fan and I think it would be very interesting. Now, I'm definitely planning on doing a BTS book tag. I actually filmed one a couple weeks ago, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I'm gonna have to refilm it. But the thing is, I'm just so nervous for it because I know people don't like K-pop. I know people are gonna be annoyed when I make it, but I really don't care about that because I'm going to be combining the two things that I love in this entire world, and that is BTS and books. So I'm going to be filming it hopefully in the next couple weeks, and it will be going up whenever I get the chance to film it. This is a good question. It says, I'm currently a freshman in college and have read many required school books through the years. Have you ever read any school books that have changed your perspective or made you become more aware of a particular subject? Just like some classics that I really loved. I love A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I love that book. And I also really love Othello by Shakespeare, and I'm actually doing this huge school thesis on Othello right now. I have a question from Haley, and she says, what is the creepiest scene you have ever read in a book, and what is the most heartwarming scene you have ever read? Okay, so for creepy, what was the book that I read recently? I got the book. Okay, so I've read like a couple of creepy scenes that I could probably talk about, but the one that literally stuck out to me was a scene from A Face Like Glass. Now, I DNF'd this book because it was that messed up to me. I just didn't like it. Basically, this book follows a 12-year-old, but she goes through some things, and there was this scene that I don't really want to relive, but it dealt with like these animals that came in the night and tried to do things to her, and it was extremely creepy, and it made me want to throw the book across the room, especially considering that she was so little. I don't know, it creeped me out. And as far as most heartwarming, man, there are so many. I would say in A Court of Mist and Fury, if you've read it, you probably know what scene I'm referring to, but that was so heartwarming when Rhys tells the story to Feyre. I'm trying to be not spoilery here, but when Rhys tells the story to Feyre about like his feelings and things like that, it was great, and I love that. Here's one from my really good friend Madeline. She asked, it says, have your reading tastes changed at all since you first joined BookTube, and if so, how? I would say my reading tastes have dramatically changed since I first joined BookTube. I'm definitely way more critical of books than I was before. Like when I was first starting out, I would give 5 stars to every single book, and that if I gave a book 3 stars, that was awful for me. Like I never gave as low as a 3-star rating. Like that book had to have been really bad in my opinion for me to give it 3 stars, and for all of my reviews I wouldn't be very harsh and I wouldn't be very critical, and but now, you know, I'm not really afraid to say, hey, I really didn't like this book and these are the specific reasons why, and I've given 1-star reviews out, 2-star reviews, and I've been way more honest with my feelings about things. Also, I've been sort of leaning more towards adult things. Like I much would rather read an adult fantasy book as opposed to like a younger YA fantasy book. And also I've been getting sick of like love triangle tropes and like the generic YA tropes. I still love young adult. I mean, it's the genre that I read the absolute most of, but I've just been getting a little bit more critical and a little bit more specific on my 5-star books, to where it really has to be a good book for me to give it 5 stars. Also, since joining BookTube, I've been really aware of doing diverse books and books that have a variety of representation in them, and I've read so many beautiful, wonderful stories that include diverse main characters and diverse characters in general, and so definitely BookTube has made me more aware of that topic and made me want to read more diverse things and stuff like that. So yeah. Hey, we got a Hamilton question. It says, who is your favorite character in Hamilton? Angelica. Angelica's my favorite. Do you speak or are learning to any other languages besides English? So I've taken 5 years of Latin. I'm definitely not fluent in Latin, considering that it's a dead language. I can't like speak it, but I can read it, and I'm also in my 2nd year of ancient Greek, and again, can't really speak it, but I can read it really well. And also I have plans to start learning Korean, again, because of K-pop. One of my really good friends is also learning Korean now, and so we are sort of going to be learning together, and so I really desperately want to learn some Korean, at least like how to read it and things like that. Oh, this question is really good. It says, how do you annotate your books? Can you show which books you found so amazing you had to annotate a lot in them? Okay, so I sort of do 2 different kinds of annotations. The first one is for mostly my YA books. I use a ton of tabs, and this is an example of a book where I use so many tabs, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury. And you see all of my beautiful tabs on this book, like, and every single like color represents something else, and like they just mark specific passages and character traits and things like that. So that's one way that I annotate. But also for all of my school books, I annotate in a specific way, and this is just one of my books that I think that I annotated pretty well, and that is the Nicomachean Ethics by Aristotle. And if you just flip open to a page, and basically what I do is I have 2 different colors. I have my pen color, my highlighter color, and so I underline things in the pen that I think are important, but I underline things in the highlight that are especially important, and then like I switch colors for every single chapter so that I remember what I read on what night. That's sort of how I annotate my school books. If you guys want me to do like a full video on how I annotate things, because I would love to do that, just let me know. If you went to Hogwarts, what would your favorite class be? Defense Against the Dark Arts. I wanna take that class so freaking much. Who has been your favorite character this year in a book? Laszlo Strange. Ooh, this is a great question to end with, and it is, what was the inspiration behind your channel name? No one has ever asked me this question before, and I've been dying to sort of share why I came up with Midnight Reads. I came up with it completely on my own. Obviously my mom tried to give me some name suggestions, but I didn't really like any of them. And at the time that I was creating my channel, just recently I was really into like drawing quotes and stuff at this time, and so I made this like drawing clock looking thing of this quote that says, "I read past my bedtime." And I love that quote because it's 100% true. Like, you guys don't know how long I stay up reading past when I should on school nights. And so I really liked that, and I really love, I'm definitely a night owl, and I'm definitely not a morning person, and I love reading at night. And one of my favorite things to do is when my entire house is asleep is to read a book in my room, and I just love it so much. And so that was sort of the inspiration. I also really love stars and galaxies and the night and things like that. And so yeah, that just sort of came to me, and it was like the first name that I came up with was Midnight Reads. And I really love the name, and I haven't regretted it for 1 second. And so that's just a little backstory into what I was doing when I made up that name. But yeah, I love Midnight Reads so much. So that's gonna be it for my 10,000 subscriber Q&A. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Thank you to everyone who left me congrats and who asked me questions and all those things like that. Just scrolling through those comments made me so happy. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new here, and I have all my social media linked down below in the description box. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later in another video. Bye!